Iba't ibang hugis at kulay, laki at bigat ng mga bagay. Halika na't magsanay tayo sa mathematics. Tayo ay maglalaro, mga numero at simbolo. Tayo ay matuto, tara na't magsiknayan na tayo.
Good day, students! This is the video lesson that cost 450 pesos. If her budget for the electricity and the food that she bought is 8,000 pesos, how much money does she have left? After observing the given word problem, we must realize that counting comes in our daily lives naturally. So Donabel, for instance, encountered 6,525 pesos, 2 3/4, 825 pesos, 1.5, 450 pesos, and 8,000 pesos. So grouping these numbers is helpful in mathematics because it allows us to identify exactly what numbers are we dealing with. So all these numbers that you know, such as 1, -9, 0, square root of 5, 1/2, and so on are all real numbers. When you say real numbers, these are numbers that you can found in number line. So these numbers are grouped and called subsets of real numbers. So what are the different subsets of real numbers? The first one is what we call the natural number. So these numbers are also known as the counting numbers. So these are numbers that we use in counting, such as 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So the examples of natural numbers are 5, 12, 14, 16, 20, and so on. The next subset of real numbers is what we call the whole numbers. So these numbers are formed by including 0 to the set of natural numbers. So when we include 0 in the natural numbers, these are called whole numbers. So examples of whole numbers are 0, 5, 12, 14, 16, 20, and so on. The next subset of real number is what we call the integers. So this subset is formed by adding the negatives to the set of whole numbers. So when we group negative numbers, 0, and positive numbers, those are what we call the integers. So some examples of integers are -8, -5, -1, 0, 3, 5, and 6. Another subset of real numbers is what we call the rational numbers. Rational numbers are any number that can be expressed in the form a over b, where a and b are integers and b is not equal to 0. It can also be defined as a number that has either a terminating or repeating decimal representations. So natural numbers, whole numbers, and integers are all under rational numbers. But in rational numbers, we can also see terminating and repeating decimals. For example, we have 3 over 5. 3 over 5 is equal to 0.6, and 0.6 is an example of terminating decimal. Another example is 2 over 3. 2 over 3 is equal to 0.6 recurring. That means the 6 is repeating. It is an example of repeating decimal. The last subset of real number is what we call the irrational numbers. Irrational numbers is the set of numbers whose decimal representations are non-terminating or non-repeating. So these numbers cannot be expressed as a quotient of integers. For example, is the value of pi. The value of pi is equal to 3.14, 1592653, and so on. So the numbers are non-repeating and it is never ending. Same with the value of square root of 2, which is equal to 1.4142, and so on, and the value of square root of 7, which is equal to 2.6457, and so on. Now, let's try to identify which subsets does the following real numbers belong. For letter A, we have negative 5. So negative 5 is an integer at the same time a rational number. For letter B, we have square root of 10. Square root of 10 is an example of irrational number. For letter C, we have positive 8. Positive 8 is a natural number, a whole number, an integer, and at the same time, a rational number. Now let's try to summarize the real number system using a tree diagram. So real numbers are divided into two groups, the irrational numbers and the rational numbers. Rational numbers are also divided into two groups, which are the fractions, repeating decimals, and terminating decimals. And the other one is the integers. Integers are divided into three groups. We have the negative integers, 0, and the positive integers or counting numbers. 0 and positive integers or counting numbers are both under the whole numbers. After learning about the different subsets of real numbers, let's try to learn how to arrange them in increasing or decreasing order. So in order for us to arrange real numbers in increasing or decreasing order, we're going to use the number line. So when using the number line, we will see negative numbers on the left side, positive numbers on the right side, and 0 at the middle. So when the number is going farther to the left, its value decreases. But when the number is going farther to the right, its value increases. So for example, we have negative 5 is less than negative 1. Another example is positive 6 is greater than positive 2. Now let's have some examples. For example number 1, compare the given numbers and plot this on the number line. Arrange it in increasing and decreasing order. For letter A, we have negative 1 and negative 4. So it means negative 1 is greater than negative 4 or negative 4 is less than negative 1. For letter B, we have 0 and negative 6. 0 is greater than negative 6 or negative 6 is less than 0. For letter C, we have 1 and 7. 7 is greater than 1 or 1 is less than 7. Now, let's try to arrange the following real numbers. So the givens are negative 1, negative 4, 0, negative 6, positive 1, and positive 7. For the increasing order, it will be negative 6, negative 4, negative 1, 0, positive 1, and positive 7. While for the decreasing order, it will be 7, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 4, and negative 6. For example number 2, we need to arrange 1/2, 9 over 10, and 3 over 8 in ascending and descending order. So in order for us to arrange rational numbers in ascending and descending order, we need to convert them into decimal representations. So 1/2 is equal to 0.5, 9 over 10 is equal to 0.9, and 3 over 8 is equal to 0.375. So after converting, arrange the rational numbers in ascending or descending order. For the ascending order, we will have 3 over 8, 1/2, and 9 over 10. While for descending order, we will have 9 over 10, 1/2, and 3 over 8. Now to summarize this lesson, let's have a wrap-up. So you need to remember that there are different subsets of real numbers. So the first one is what we call the natural numbers. And natural numbers are also known as the counting numbers. The second one, whole numbers are natural numbers with 0. Integers are whole numbers with negative numbers. Then the rational numbers are any number that can be expressed in the form a over b, where a and b are integers and b is not equal to 0. So they are fractions that are terminating and repeating, while the irrational numbers are numbers that when you express in decimal representation, they are non-repeating and non-terminating. And the last one, the farther the negative number to 0, the lower the value. So the farther the positive number to 0, the higher the value. To relate our lesson in our real life, let's have your reflection. So you're going to make another entry on your journal. So real numbers are the union of all rational and irrational numbers. Same with our experiences in life. So our lives consist of our rational and irrational decisions. Sometimes we make mistakes, but that doesn't mean that we are a bad person. On a separate sheet of paper, give one irrational decision that you made and the reason why you made it. Then try to come up with a rational decision that you think that would make that irrational decision right. You can also share it with me using your Facebook account. Don't forget to tag me. Now let's proceed with your post test. Please pause the video and play it once you are done answering.